Hello, 4th graders. Today you'll be learning about quadrilaterals. Your objective for this lesson is to focus on how to draw, classify, and describe quadrilaterals, as well as learn where we can find them in our everyday lives. As we go through our lesson, take notes on different types of quadrilaterals. You are required to draw and label each of the shapes that are discussed and write in your notes our 3-2-1 plan. Remember, this is to find 3 things you learned, find 2 questions that you have about the lesson, and write down 1 thing that you already knew. Be ready to share what you have at the beginning of class. To start, let's look at what a quadrilateral is. There are many different kinds of quadrilaterals, but all have several things in common. All of them have 4 sides, have 2 diagonals, and the sum of their 4 interior angles is equal to 360 degrees. We are going to look at the different types of quadrilaterals. The first type of quadrilateral we should look at is called a parallelogram. This is a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of parallel sides. Remember that the word parallel means that the lines will never cross. Think of railroad tracks. They will always be separate, and if they ever cross, the train would not be able to move. Many of the quadrilateral shapes are also considered parallelograms. Those shapes include squares, rhombuses, and rectangles. We will talk about each of those separately as we go on. Our first shape that we're going to talk about after parallelogram is called a square. A square's sides are all of equal length, and all 4 interior angles are right angles. This means that it not only qualifies as a quadrilateral, but it also qualifies as a parallelogram. Look at all the squares in the world around us. Our next quadrilateral is also a part of the parallelogram category. Its name is a rhombus. A rhombus's sides are all of equal length. It kind of looks like a pushed over square. Here are some examples of what rhombuses look like in real life. The next shape is called a rectangle. This quadrilateral is also categorized as a parallelogram, meaning its sides are all parallel to each other. Rectangles have 2 pairs of opposite sides, parallel, and has 4 right angles. Look at all the rectangles we see in the world around us. The next quadrilateral we will take a look at is called a trapezoid. A trapezoid only has 1 pair of parallel sides. That means that it doesn't fall under the category of a parallelogram because parallelograms have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Look at these trapezoids found in your everyday life. Our last shape that we're going to take a look at is called a kite. A kite is neither a parallelogram nor a trapezoid. A kite has 2 pairs of adjacent sides that are equal length. Look at all the objects found in your world that are considered kites. Let's go over what we learned. Quadrilaterals are shapes and can be split up into 3 different groups: parallelograms, trapezoids, and kites. The group of parallelograms contains rhombuses, squares, and rectangles. On your screen, you can see a Venn diagram depicting what quadrilaterals are and their different categories. Now that you know what quadrilaterals are, come to class prepared tomorrow to complete various activities that will give you practice drawing, classifying, and describing quadrilaterals. So bring your questions and we will answer them at the beginning of class.